Hello and welcome back into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here or you've been here before, it'd be awesome if you subscribed and turned on the notification bell. That way you know when I drop these videos. Also, thumbs ups, and please put your comments, because like I always say, the comments influence a lot of what I do here, and actually this video is an example of that. What we're going to talk about today, we're going to look at basically the first 8 games of the New York Knicks from an analytical, statistical point of view, because there's a lot of feelings out there right now, and rightly so. The Knicks are currently 5-3. We started off 5-1, and we should have won that game against the Magic. The second one, we were up by 15. We gave up that lead, so we should have been 6-0. And technically right now we should be, I would say, 6-2 at minimum, but there's a possibility we could have been 7-1. Yes. Last night's game against the Pacers, I had it down as a loss originally in the preseason when I was analyzing the whole schedule. And if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out. It's pretty fun to look at every single game analyzed. Don't go deep into it, but I give you my season record predictions, which by now you should all know. I'm not going to tell you if you haven't seen it, so check it out. But we all know that I did predict the 5-1 start for the Knicks, and I also predicted a rocky beginning to the month of November for the Knicks. I actually predicted us to go 2-3 for the first 5 games. So right now we're 0-2. We can easily get back on track. We have the Bucks tomorrow. Friday, or whenever you're watching this on Friday. If you're watching it on the weekend after the Bucks, after we beat the Bucks, then good for you, and good for all of us. The thing is, we're right on track. We're right in line with what I had expected. Things that we need to factor in with what's going on with these Knicks. What's up with the Knicks? Is it the offense that's the problem? Is it the defense? Is it both? What is going on with them? Now, it's interesting. It's kind of funny to even ask that question for a team that's 5-3 currently right now and is in the playoff hunt right now. I mean, there's a lot of parity right now in the East, a lot of good teams. There's theoretically, there's 2 great teams, possibly 3. Give my props to Miami. They're playing sensationally, but we know the Nets are going to be there at the end. It's going to happen. They're going to figure it out. There's just too much talent at the top of that squad. They're very top heavy. And if Kyrie ends up coming back, then that team's going to be lethal. And the Bucks. The Bucks, right now I think they're 4-4, but I have no concerns that they're going to straighten it out. They've been missing some people here and there. And there's the post-championship hangover sometimes, but don't worry, Giannis, within a couple of months, is going to have that team hitting all cylinders, and they're going to be one of the top 2 elite teams. And then there's Miami, like I mentioned. Miami's playing sensationally right now. They look scary, look dangerous, but you know what? It's only been 8 games, so don't want to overreact. Is the key here. We don't want to overreact to our record. We don't want to overreact to other teams' records. What we want to look at is what's actually happening on the court in those 48 minutes. One of the things that's happened is the Knicks have given up leads, and that has been distressing, especially for the fan base. Their inability to close out games has caused us a lot of heartache, but we're still 5-3. Still 5-3. Against the Pacers, we never had the lead. First time that's happened in the whole season. But we're seeing a few things that are interesting. Number 1, and don't worry, I have a bunch of stats to show you guys. You're going to love the stats I have. Number 1, RJ Barrett. Let's just for a second. Now, here's something. I decided to do this video instead of a look at RJ Barrett and whether the offense should be run through him. This was the night my son actually asked me if I would do that video. And I'm going to do that video, but I think it's still too early, because once I looked at all the data, it actually led me to a certain conclusion. which I'll share with you guys as we go forward. But it doesn't mean we can't totally bask in the wonderful warmth glow that we get when we think about our incredible 21-year-old RJ Barrett. The last 4 games, he's scored over 40 points. I mean over 20 points per game. Sorry about it. Over 20 points per game the last 4 games, and he's really been the offensive spark plug. So it does raise the question, should we start going towards the offense running through RJ? Here's what I'm going to say about that, and I'm going to move on. It's happening. I mean, Thibs is a sharp guy. He knows what's happening. He's handling it. Things have to happen. They have to transition into things because there's egos. There's mostly it's just also you don't want to overload RJ with too much responsibilities all at once. You want to let him have some here and there, like we saw in the fourth quarters of certain games where they started featuring RJ. Actually, when RJ scored his 35 points best, his career best, that's what was happening there. It's going to happen. It's going to happen whether the entire offense is run through him constantly or it's run through him in certain parts. I'm not worried. It will happen. What I am worried about is the defense and the offense to a certain respect. So in some ways, the answer to that question down below, it's both. And I will get into it right now. But before I get into it, I want to show you guys one highlight that I recorded off my TV. And just to, hate to single somebody out, but it's not just Kemba. It's the entire team. They have to talk to each other. They have to help Kemba. Remember, Kemba's new to this defensive scheme. RJ, Julius, and Mitch, they know Thibs' defensive scheme. So those 3 have to help the other 2, Fournier and Kemba, so that they know where to be on the court. Let's go to it. So here you see, this was early in the game. We were trying to get back in it. We were down 11-0. So we clawed back in. We were 12-5 run here. Look at this. Boom. Wide open make right there. Now, let's watch it again. So look at Kemba. He's sitting there. And then Kemba, he loses his guy. Because he's expecting Mitch to be in the paint to cover for him. But actually, Mitch is right next to him. Now, sometimes, he's behind him. He's slightly behind him. Now he's right next to him. This is where Mitch has got to talk to Kemba. Because look what happened. The guy penetrated, and he found a wide open corner 3, with the easiest 3 to make in the NBA. For someone who's, he's not necessarily known as a great 3-point shooter, but when you're wide open is the NBA, you're going to hit it. That is symbolic of basically what happens constantly to the Knicks. Penetration by guards resulting in perimeter makes. Now, sometimes the ball gets kicked out to the perimeter, and then the defender has to lunge at him, and the offensive player curls around the defender and either gets a nice pass, open look, or 2-pointer, or gets to the basket and gets fouled. That's another problem. So this is emblematic of what's been going on with the Knicks in general. All right, now let's go to the stats. Here, okay, this is the Knicks after 8 games. Is the offense the problem? Now let's look at the snapshot of the offense. And what I've done is I've taken basically the averages for the team and the NBA rank where they are. Now you can just see right off the bat, that's an incredibly potent offense. We got a killer offense for these Knicks. We're averaging 113 points per game, which is good enough for 4th in the entire NBA. We're talking about the entire NBA, not just the East. Our 3-point percentage, 39.3%. It actually dropped a little bit because last night they couldn't hit anything. We shot about 20% last night. But look, that's still good enough for second in the entire NBA. Offensive rating, 112.2, 3rd best in the NBA. Net rating, 2.5, 7th best. Now you can start to see, okay, The net rating is 2.5, the seventh best. It's got to be the defense, right? Well, not necessarily. I'll keep going. But yes. Yes. Our true shooting, 57.3%. Third best. Effective field goal percentage, 54.4% for fourth best. And our plus minus, 2.6 for seventh best. Now the plus minus and the net rating, same ranking. So this is for everyone concerned about how the Pacers played the Knicks last night, that they ran them off the three-point line. Well, I rewatched the game. The Knicks had about a dozen really good looks that just didn't drop. Now, if they had hit, according to their regular 39.3%, those dozen shots, they would have connected on 4 additional three-pointers. 4 additional, maybe even 5. 4 additional. That's good enough for 12 points, and that's good enough to win the game. Tie the game. Be right there. So that's what it was. We had a cold shooting night. That's what happened. So do we want to overreact? Do we want to change the entire offensive structure because we had a cold offensive night? I mean, Kemba struggled. Kemba was the leading three-point percentage shooter in the entire NBA. He missed all 5 of his three-pointers last night. Was it 5? Yeah, I think it was 5. Well, he went 2 for 11. So he missed all of his three-point shots. Fournier struggled from the three-point line. Julius, he didn't take enough of them. He actually passed up on some open looks. And then he had one at the top of the key. When Burks was in the game. He was wide open, and the guy coming at him, I believe, was Duarte. So, Julius can shoot over Duarte, and he had so much time, but he saw Burks left side in the left corner, pass it to him, but Burks ended up getting a more contested three-point shot. Now, statistically, corner threes are better shots to take than at the top of the arc. But in that case, that was a challenge shot, and Julius passed up an open look. So these are the kind of decision-making issues that I feel over time the offense is going to work out. What happened is these Knicks, this unit, they're such great shooters. We have great shooters now. Let's just accept that. Let's just drink that in for a moment. We have great shooters. We do. But even great shooters have off nights. So last night was one of those. But our great shooters also have to trust themselves. They only took 24 three-pointers last night. We were a minus 17 in three-point attempts compared to the Pacers. And I said it in the recap. I don't know if you guys didn't see the recap, but I said it in the recap. That was a total mistake. If you are a three-point shooting team, you have to keep shooting the three-pointer. It's how we win. You cannot win. These Knicks cannot win without shooting 37 to 40 three-pointers a game. I don't care if they're only hitting 20% of them. I know everyone's thinking, oh, no, when it's not falling, you have to adjust. Well, guess what? That's what they did last night. So for everyone out there saying that the Knicks should abandon the three-point shot when it's not dropping, there you go. There was the proof. They did it last night, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't get over the hump because guess what? The team on the other side is going to keep shooting the three. So it's really hard to win in today's NBA if you stop shooting the three, even if you're not connecting. Now, like I pointed out, the Julius passing up an open look, sometimes that happens. You lose a little confidence and you stop shooting. I saw IQ. Also, IQ did not even attempt a three-pointer last night. So you can't go away from what you are. This team is constructed to be a three-point shooting team. Drive and kick, spray the ball. If you have a good look at the basket while you're in the paint, go for it. Try to get the foul. But that is the way this team is built to play. They can't change that. However, some of the positive things that happened from basically passing up on some open looks from beyond the arc was Julius. Julius dunked. I haven't seen him dunk this often in games. I don't think I've seen him, in over a year. He was dunking, and attempting to dunk, and I love that. I love that aggression, and it really helped because the Knicks clawed back in the game. We talked about this. They were 2 points. They were only down 2, about 9 minutes left in the game. And I think they were even still only down 4 or 3 with about 4 minutes in the game. So they were there. They were there to win it. But what happened was we didn't keep taking 3-point shots, and the Pacers did. And of course, Miles Turner just had a career night. So there's always that. But there you go. That was the difference of the game. So here, one thing I do want to point out though, field goal percentage, the overall field goal percentage is 45.8%, which is good enough for 10th in the NBA. So that means that our mid-range game is not there right now because we're doing pretty well at the rim. So I should have had that stat here. Don't remember it off the top of my head, but our efficiency at around the rim within 2-3 feet of the basket is pretty good. But the mid-range has left us. We do not have a mid-range game right now, especially those long mid-range shots, which I detest anyway. I know once in a while you have to take it, but that's just not, we can't win this way. And also to say, hey, you know what? When they're coming and making us abandon the 3-point shot by charging the 3-point line for our shooters, hey, figure it out. The Golden State Warriors do. Who gets more double team than Steph Curry beyond the 3-point line, and yet he still gets his shot off? So that's not an excuse. We have to just figure it out. Do double screens. Sometimes do triple screens. And why not? Throw some curls in there. Just figure it out. Keep the ball moving because the ball movement is absolutely the key. Absolutely key. A lot of times it was dribble, not so much dribble, but dribble, one pass, shot attempt. Or dribble, shot attempt. There wasn't enough passing. I want to see at least 2, 3, 4 passes before an attempt. If we're not going to, play at a super high pace, which we haven't been playing at that high a pace lately, actually. Our pace percentage we're 98.13, which is 27th in the NBA. So our pace has not increased. Our possessions, we're at 806 possessions. That's 16th in the NBA. So we're not getting that many. We haven't increased the pace to increase more shot attempts is what my point is. So might as well keep moving the ball around until we get a nice clean look. But again, even with all those issues that I just talked about, look at those stats. 4th, 2nd, 3rd, 7th, 3rd, 4th, 7th. So it's got to be the defense, right? Yep. Here we go. Here are the defensive problem. The defensive stats. Is the defense the problem? Yeah, the defense is the problem. It certainly is because look, our opponent's points per game, we're allowing 110.4 points per game for 22nd rank. That's in the bottom third of the league. Opponent's 3-point percentage, 34.3%, 17th. So that's almost closer to the medium, to the middle. Okay. Opponent's fast break points, 15.5, 25th ranking. Now, Fred Katz, I believe that's his name, from The Athletic, he wrote a great article about the Knicks transition game issues. So you guys should check that out. And there it is. That's right there. That's the statistical proof that we are hurting. We're 25th in the league in allowing fast break points to the opponent. Now, interestingly, points in the paint. We're not getting crushed in the paint. 41.8 points. That's good enough for 5th in the NBA. So that's not the problem. Opponent free throw rate, 0.221. That's 14th. That's in the middle. That's not that good for that particular statistic. We're creating fouls, and a lot of those fouls, remember, when do most fouls get committed? They get committed in the fourth quarter when teams are, really challenging us. So we can't be making dumb fouls. That's one of the problems. But 14th is right in the middle, so it's not atrocious. But here we go with the real concerning stats. Opponents' turnover percentage, 13.2%, which is 24th. That's pretty bad. Opponents' offensive rebounding percentage, 27.8%, 20th. So those stats, those are, and I call those hustle stats. We are not forcing the opponent to turn the ball over enough. We're not getting enough steals, though we're getting a decent amount of blocks, but we're not getting enough steals. We're not getting enough deflections. We're not making life uncomfortable enough for the opponent when they're on the offensive end. And a lot of it is because we're making turnovers, but we're all not just turnovers. The turnovers aren't necessarily the issue, which is why I put this other stat over here, which is opponents' points off turnovers. 13.1 points, which is good enough for third in the NBA. Surprisingly, third in the NBA, which is first is Miami and second is Dallas. Third are the Knicks. So we're not getting beat. We're not getting crushed because we're turning the ball over. However, I think we're getting crushed because we're not getting back on defense after we miss 3-point shots or we don't take a quality shot of some kind. A lot of times it's not even a 3-point shot. Sometimes, hate to say it, it's an ISO play with Randall, on the left side or the right side, and he just misses, and we're not getting back in time. Or Kemba attempting a layup, or Rose attempting a layup, and it just doesn't happen, and maybe they're looking at the ref or whatever, and we're not getting back. We're not stopping the fast break. So that's the real major issue in terms of the transition game. Because look at opponents' second chance points, 11.6 for 9th in the NBA. That stat I was surprised about. I thought we were going to be a lot worse. I actually thought we'd been giving up way too many second chance points. Now, this is not a net number. This is how many points they get on average per game. So we allow 9th fewest opponents second chance points. That's pretty good. Could we improve that? Yeah, we should improve that. But that's not bad. However, the defensive rating, that's the key stat, 109.7 for 25th in the NBA. That is bad. That is bad. Last year, we were fourth in the NBA. So that's where we got to get it together. These guys got to talk more on the defensive end. They have to understand. One thing is, I think we're losing our cover too easily. When a guy cuts, like we saw in that play, Kemba just let him go. Maybe that's just the way that they're being told to play that. To me, it looks like a mistake, and it's resulting in open looks for the opponent, and that's what's really killing us. That's what's really killing us, man. Oh man. So let me see some other stats here. So opponents' 3-pointers made, they're making 14.3 points, 14.3 per game against us. That's 27th in the NBA. Opponent 3-point attempts, 41.5. That's 28th in the NBA. So even though we are kicking butt from the 3-point line, we're also letting ourselves get beat in terms of attempts and makes. Now, in terms of opponents' 3-point percentage, we're allowing 34.3%. Like I said, that's 17th in the NBA, so that's kind of closer to the middle. So we're allowing a high volume. The percentage isn't that bad, but the volume is bad. And partially it's because of basically the breakdown at the point defensively, allowing whoever is the ball handler, or even it can even be from the wings as well, penetrating the paint and then finding the open guy. That's what I'm seeing as the problem. Now, is it time to sound the alarm? Is it time to just freak out? No. Think this is just chemistry. They need to figure it out, and it's going to come over time. The hot start that we got off of offensively masked a lot of the issues that we have defensively. Because when you can outshoot guys, it really makes life a lot easier. But sometimes you're just not going to outshoot them. In our 3 losses, we're averaging 102 points. 98, 104, and 104. So just shows, how well we're doing when we're clicking. Will we click more often than not? Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I predict we're going to click more often 2 out of 3 times than not. All right. Well, thank you for watching this. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, hit the thumbs ups, and drop your comments. And stay tuned for more videos from the Knicks-Verse.